We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get 60 after Monday Night Raw?
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is July 8th. It's a Tuesday, a fine Tuesday here. We will not have the Tuesday night delight until Tuesday night, but I do have an esteemed crew with me, and I'm fired up about it. We're going to break down Monday Night Raw. What is going on, everybody? Let me introduce him to you really quick. First and foremost, I'm going to send it across the pond to a guy that has been on more Tuesday shows than I can count. And remember, I gave up math years ago. But in some circles, they know him as Mickey's best pal. In this one, we know him as Mr. In the Bank. It's Jordy in the Bank. It's Happy Tuesday. What's going on, Jordy?
Hello, everyone. Wow, that was loud, wasn't it? Hi. Yeah, no, I had a week off last week, but I am back now. I had to go to a work event. And look at this friction burn that I got from some bouncy castle assault course thing. And that's what I do on a work event. So, yeah, that was fun. But no, I'm back. I'm here to talk about Raw. We're going to make it exciting. Look, it's a go-home show. Do you know what I mean? But there were some good matches, and we've got a great crew on a Tuesday night. So I'm excited to be here with you guys.
100%. It does appear we are having some issues over on Instagram. I do apologize.
Oh,
You
no.
intended to watch it over there. We are live now. Jordy, I'm stoked to have you back. I just gave it away and showed everybody, but Aunt U is back once again. What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Man, this is home now. I enjoy being on the daily broadcast. We are having a great show. Clark, Jordy, we're gonna have a great time. And let's talk about a going home show of Raw last night that took a couple of us home.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go home today. I'm actually technically at home already, if we're being specific. But let's get into our first topic here of the afternoon, evening, morning. It depends on your geography there. Seth Rollins. We're still singing. Right? We're still singing. We're still doing the whole Seth freaking Rollins. He's holding the microphone up. I don't get it. Don't get it. Yes, I understand the headline says that they ran the show. I don't know what's going on here, though. If Seth Rollins is going to be the biggest, baddest dude in the room, can we not allow him to be cheered as this weird tweener Joker character that I don't entirely understand and didn't even understand as a babyface? I'm going to go to you first, Jordy, then I'm going to go to you, Ant. But like the three of us, can we solve this problem this afternoon? Because it's starting to bother me.
Bro, we solved it like 4 weeks ago. Like,
I know.
he needs to drop the music, right? He needs to drop the music. And I thought exactly the same. You were the first person I thought of. In fact, both of you, because we've all said it. That moment last night when Seth said, and welcome Monday, whatever he said at the end, and he held the mic up, and it was like, yeah, come on, join in with me. It's like, no, man, we're supposed to not like you. We're supposed to not like you. And like, I do like Seth. He's very good at what he does, and he always has been. But like, they need to do more. And I'm convinced something as little as taking the music away will massively help this situation. I'm convinced, because it's impossible not to sing. Like I've said before, it's one of the things that people are looking forward to when they go to a show, right? So that they're always going to join in if you give them that opportunity to join in. It's just going to happen. I don't know. I like this group. I like the potential of this group, but it just feels a little bit cut and stick at the minute. I like that Bronson came out and obviously had said that the vision is to have him at the forefront at the front of the company for the next 20 years, and that's cool. But I always just thought, like, if I was Bronson, man, I'd clothesline him. I'd be like, nah, none of that.
Yeah.
Like, let me have a go first. Like,
Right.
So I don't know. There was just a couple of issues here and there. if we're talking about Seth and Penta's match, good match as I thought it would be
It
with them
was.
two. You know, of course it was. Seth very, very, very rarely puts on anything worse than a kind of 4-star match, right? He's a
Right.
very good wrestler and he can get a good match out of anyone. And Penta's also a very good wrestler. So yeah, great match there. I need more from this group now.
Same. And here's the thing. So we got shot in the comments here with Seth's music is amazing. Keep it. Don't Death Rebel him.
Oh, Def Rebel him.
I mean, if you're going
In this
to
context.
Death Rebel him, yeah. I was going to say, I had an idea a little while back. We haven't done this in a while in wrestling. What about no music for Seth? But my only fear is then the fans still sing the song.
It's too easy to sing it, innit?
What would be cool, though, if you played out that scenario? And I find interesting, and don't get me wrong, Anthony, I want you to talk about the Penta match and other stuff. I'm not even asking you about this. It was just an idea I had. You don't play the song and the people sing it, and it bugs Seth that they sing it.
Yeah.
So you play no music, the fans still sing the old song, and Seth is visibly frustrated by it every time. Like, stop singing that.
Yeah.
I don't care about you. I don't know. But I do want to ask you, obviously, about the Penta match that Jordy discussed, as well as, I mean, like Jordy said, we're all on the same page. Something has to change musically,
Right.
whether it's the idea I just presented or something else.
Well, I think before we get to that, Seth will never be hated enough to where anything you do won't get a great reaction from the crowd whenever he comes out. He's earned that. Seth has done so many great things in WWE that the fans are always going to cheer him no matter what he does. You know, he screwed Roman, took the wise man. I thought it was funny that Braun Breaker called Paul Heyman the wise man, and even Seth said it at one point, and then later in the night they called him the Oracle again. So that was funny. That was a good slip up by Braun Breaker there. But when I think of someone coming out with no music, I think back to when Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano and they had their big match at NXT TakeOver, and Ciampa came out with no music and the crowd just let him have it. And it's iconic things like that you won't get with Seth Rollins. You'll never get it, just because I don't think he can be hated that much. Logan Paul could do something like that. But yeah, no, I think what they did last night was great. It was just, okay, this is what it's going to be. Braun Breaker came out and just crashed out and lost it. And at first, Seth was like, what is going on? And then after listening and talking to Paul, like the little things that they showed that they didn't show, like Paul and Seth just interacting the whole time during Breaker's promo. And you could just see Seth like looking like a proud dad as Braun Breaker was going off. And it was just elevating. He started smiling. And and then Bronson Reed talking about, I took this man out and he saw the value in me and brought me in the fold. So I love what they're doing. I don't think they need a name. I don't think they need.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to show this one here. Roundhead commented, this faction has been a thing for 2+ months and they have no name. Joke man. I don't know. I'm torn on that. But so you don't believe that they need a name?
I don't think so. Like, as long as they're going to continue to be dominant and continue to just run roughshod, what do you need a name for? Because we don't need a team name because we're all that good individually. You know, you got Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. That's all you need to say. Like, let's do something different. Let's not give them a name. Let's not, take the music away. Let's not make everyone, let's not try to force dislike for them down our throats. Just let the crowd be as it is and ride the wave on it. That's what Seth Rollins does. So I think just it was I liked that last night, and I'm starting to pivot over to this is going to be really good. Like, this is going to be different
That's fair. That's fair. And that's where, Jordy, I want to ask you, though, when it comes to the name conversation, what's your opinion on that? Because we talked a lot about the music, right? And you know, you broke that down pretty well. Like, you don't mind going against the grain, sort of, and no name. That's cool. But Jordy, I do want to get your thoughts on that part of it. You're muted.
My dog started barking. Big dog in the house.
Dogs
Oh,
barking.
big
Dogs
dog
barking.
on heat. Oh, oh no, and I've started going again now. You can probably hear. So I think the name needs to. They should be called the Big Dogs. No, I actually think I agree with Dan. I do agree with what you say. I don't think they need one. I personally would like them to have one, but I think here she is. I don't think they need one. I don't actually think they need one. I think they will end up having one for the sake of t-shirts, merchandise, WWE machine. But I totally agree. I think almost keeping them separate and then just give them a name once it's done. Do you know what I mean? Once it's all over and we can look back and call it something, but it doesn't necessarily need one. And I like the idea of them not losing who they are individually and retaining that. So keeping the music. So I like your point. It's a good. It'd be interesting to see it play out that way.
I find this whole thing kind of interesting because initially people were talking about it being sort of the modern Dangerous Alliance, and I thought the Modern Alliance would have been a really cool name.
I'm just not having it. I'm just not.
No, you don't like it?
No, Fernando.
Oh my gosh. No, that is golden. I'm sorry. I just called him the Seth
right.
Sorry. The great Fernando. That got me. I'm sorry, guys. Unprofessional here.
That is outstanding.
Well, he was just barking down the mic. Don't worry. The professional went out the window.
That can make you mad about that. If you're upset about that, that is. I'm sorry. That's golden. Let's move on to our next segment, though, here of this afternoon. Let's talk about Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn. Just like Kevin Owens succumbs to injury, he's definitely out indefinitely. Jordy, I'm going to go to you first. Just a huge loss because I think Sami's been on one of the better runs of his career.
I totally agree. My only thing is, this seems to be a running thing with Sami, right? He seems to quite often be taking breaks. I don't know if it's a new part of his contract. Like he seems to be. Sorry, my dog is actually barking now. All jokes aside, there was a time when he took a break. He came back at the Rumble, and then he was back until like Mania. Won at Mania, then lost, and then had another break. And I just feel like there's something in Sami's contract now where he actually has been agreed that he gets to take these bits of time out. I would love for him to come back with Kevin. I don't think the timings will line up right there. I am curious though to see what happens with Cross now, because obviously that was where he's going. I want to see Sami come back and take out Cross. I want to see Cross put on a better show than he did at Night of Champions. I'm going to be honest. Like, I was there, I was watching it live, and the thing was, I wanted more from him, and I was one that was shouting for Cross to be on the PLEs, and I just felt like he didn't let me down. I'm not going to say that, but I feel like he's got more to show, and I do hope he gets that opportunity. But there's a lot of competition out there now. So I don't know.
Absolutely. Out of curiosity, though, is it your opinion that Sami isn't actually hurt? He's taking time off.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I'm curious about that. If
I'm
it's
a believer.
An injury
I'm a believer.
scenario, though.
I'm a believer.
There you go. There you go. I love that. Okay. And I'm going to ask you a similar question here. When it comes to Sami being out right now, it's a big loss in the world title picture. Yes, there's a lot at the top, but I mean, Sami is a week in and week out performer as well. How big of a loss do you think this is for the roster?
I mean, it's a big loss. Sammy does things that a lot of people don't like to do, right? Sammy will work with people. Sammy works with everyone, and no matter who he works with, it's always entertaining, and you always tune in for it. So I'm good with that. I'm good with Sammy being that glue in the locker room and just that comic relief on our screen at times. Because Sammy dancing is one of the best things ever. But I don't believe that Sammy's going to be gone too long. I think this Atlanta trip and maybe another week or two, but then we're going to see Sammy right back. Sammy's going to be back for SummerSlam, and he's going to be a major factor in whatever happens in the title picture. And when you had Braun Breaker mentioning Karrion Kross last night, that just puts him in that inserted him in that storyline also. So now we can have Kross maybe trying to get into to Braun Breaker's head, or messing with Seth or something like that, and then we could get Sami and Kross together. So there's a lot that you can do there, but I do think Sami is taking a little break, but it's not going to be as long as people think. I think it definitely means 3 weeks, 4 at the most. So it's going to be fun.
I think that's fair. I mean, 4 weeks is a month off, basically, right? 3 weeks is nearly a month. I think that in fairness, okay, I'm cool with that. I apologize. I think I'm having some technical difficulties. Can y'all hear me? We good?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all that counts. And either way, though, when it comes to Sami, he's an important part of the card. But speaking of important things, let's talk really quickly about our friends over at Etsy. Oh, whoops, not Progress. Etsy. Wow, I'm really struggling here. Download the Etsy app on the App Store or the Google Play Store and head to the upcoming stream section. You're going to love it. Me and you takes Ben Allison occasionally. You're going to get We the Ones. All you got to do is have a cell phone with a microphone. You don't even need to turn the camera on, but you're welcome to do that as well. You can argue with us about Cody Rhodes, whatever you'd like. Head over to the App Store. Again, no matter which type of phone you have, because it's absolutely free. Download the Etsy app. Send us a friend request. We'll send you one back. Absolutely. And thank you, Monster. Shout out to Fernando Zayas. Yeah, sorry. I'm on the struggle bus here. We had an internet cord issue today. One of those days, my friends. Happy Tuesday, y'all. But let's talk about the women's Intercontinental title picture, which is heating up significantly. I'm going to go to Aunt You first. I'm going to go to you, Jordy. Talk to me about what we saw last night on Monday Night Raw.
Man, what we're seeing on Monday Night Raw with these 3 women is perfection. Everyone is talking about how, WWE, like all these PLEs are coming so fast and nothing's getting built up. Well, they are building this storyline up beautifully. Everything from Lyra Valkyria shoulder bumping Bayley coming out to get to the ring to Becky being that voice in the ear of both of them of, I told you this was going to happen. And, now you're seeing Bayley's true colors and then Lyra standing over top of 2 Hall of Famers last night, talking about she needs to save the Intercontinental Championship from both of them. Like, it's so good. And like, everything in that match is going to be great because Bayley, I might ruffle some feathers when I say this, Bayley's the best worker out of all the 4 horsewomen.
Ooh, I agree.
Bayley's the best worker out of all the 4 horsewomen. So now and we never got a lot of her and Becky. It was a lot of her and Sasha. They threw in some her and Charlotte. but there was never a lot of Bailey and Becky. So now that they're both seasoned and they're both really good, they're going to elevate Lyra Valkyria to superstardom super fast. Like, we see the writing on the wall with Lyra. So her having this opportunity to work with both of them and just learn from them is going to be so good, because Lyra's going to have her hands full after this next call up of NXT superstars, right? And you don't want to get lost in the sauce with that, because you got to figure Sol Ruka's coming up. Jordan Grace is coming up. You got to figure Kalani Jordan's probably coming up. And these are all very talented people.
No doubt.
Right. And so Lyra Valkyria doesn't have that D1 pedigree that a lot of these women do, but she's just good. She's a great wrestler. So in order to keep up with that, have her work with Bailey and Becky. And like, it doesn't matter who wins the match. I'm pretty sure Becky's going to retain, but match of the night. I'm calling match of the night because it has been billed so well, and the women that are in it are just amazing wrestlers. So
100%. And Jordy, I want to ask you about this one too, because I think Bailey is at least the most underrated worker, if not the best. We've got Donnie De Silva in the chat here with Bailey isn't the best worker out of that group. Charlotte is the best ever. I'll agree Bailey is second, though. I mean, we could almost debate this the rest of the show. Fernando Zayas with, I also agree Bailey's the top horsewoman. And then we've got so much Sasha and Charlotte, too much from
feuding with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to ask you, Jordy, what's your opinion on all of this?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. It changes on it every day. It changes. Yeah, it's hard to disagree. It's actually hard to disagree when I think of Bailey. Like, she's just always such a solid worker and always has been. The peaks of Charlotte and Becky and stuff might be higher or whatever, but like, if you're talking about just that good, solid worker, reliable. Yeah, maybe she is. But Mercedes is so good, and Charlotte is so good. Like, I'm not a massive Charlotte fan, never have been, and Becky is that. Essentially what you were just saying there, and with Lyra, she's not got that D1 athletic pedigree background, but she's just good. Like that. That's Becky, isn't it? That's Becky Lynch summed up. Like, why is she so good? I don't know. She's not built like Charlotte. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't have the same sort of pedigree as some of the other people, especially people that are coming through now, but she just is that good. She just really is. And I don't know, man. I don't know. You're not wrong, but I don't know. I just, when it comes to these four and splitting hairs between them, I struggle every time, because I'm just like, they're all so good, and the thing is, what's so unique about these four is we're not looking at cut and stick the same four wrestlers. They're all so different. They're all so different.
This is how I equate it. Like, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, they've all had great title runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nothing gives me cold chills. Nothing I remember more vividly than when Bailey beat Sasha for the NXT Women's Championship when she was Hugger Bailey. And then they had the 2 out of 3, or they had the Iron Woman match.
Cutting the inflatable arm flailing tube man is iconic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because while we're on the conversation, we've got a little extra time here. I look at it like this: Becky Lynch is the most charismatic, for sure, of the four, right?
Yes.
Charlotte Flair is the best, fundamentally speaking. She doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, she's an
right?
athlete. Isn't she?
Period. Sasha Banks is the most polarizing.
The attitude.
She makes people think the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bailey's the most versatile. Because Bailey can do multiple things in a way the other four can't.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not comparing them against each other and you're just looking at it that way, to have these 4 women for the amount of time we have in pro wrestling is just really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like, this may never happen again, right? We do Rushmore rankings all the time on shows of this nature. We do things like that. The 4 horsewomen are undeniable because they were never, it's not like the 4 horsemen where it was like, oh, they were a faction. No. The 4 horsewomen were nicknamed because they were trailblazers, all 4
right.
in their own way. And that's something that I don't know if we actually even appreciate it enough at times.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I would say to play devil's advocate, it's not 4, but I think there'll be an argument of Bianca, Rhea, and Io in a few years time.
Oh, yes.
It's a great call.
You know what I mean? And I think the argument will be then, is it this trilogy of these 3, or is it the 4 horsewomen? Who was better? Who's impacted? Do you know what I mean? I think that will become the argument. It'll be pitting the groups against each other rather than
generationally. It's so true because
it is
about the
4.
generation before.
Well,
who's
it is 4.
Who's your 4th?
Asuka.
Yeah, fair point.
See, I include Asuka in a different generation is my only thing. I'm just totally It's tough because I really like the idea of Io, Ripley, and Bianca. I'd love to add Jade to that conversation. I'd love to add Tiffany
Liv Morgan
Stratton,
as well. I'd love to.
Or
add.
Liv Morgan would be the 4th.
Yeah.
I think. Jordy, you accidentally spoiled it, but I'm not even mad because that's exactly where I was going. Is if I was going to name a 4th, it would be Liv Morgan. No. Put your headphones back on, Jordy, because I'm actually just you took the words right out of my mouth perfectly. We've got a few comments really quick. I do want to run through the Atomic Merp Monster shout out. Thank you always for tuning in. Lyra is getting so much better on the mic, but I meant to actually show the other one. Sorry, I'm late. Don't even apology accepted. It was totally unnecessary. Donnie De Silva with Bailey's fantastic from a psychology standpoint. Yeah. And then Fernando with the 4 Horsemen changed women's wrestling. Donnie also added nice breakdown, Clark, but I think while Charlotte may not be the best in every category, she's a B+ or A- in every category and nobody else is. That's what I mean about like she's the most fundamentally sound, right? She doesn't do anything poorly. Mm-hmm. Whereas Bailey's versatility is more in the emotional side, not necessarily the working side, if that makes sense. That's kind of where I was going with that one. We've also got from Roundhead, Asuka is the best NXT wrestler ever. I said it. That's hard to argue. That is very hard to argue. Maybe I don't know.
Barrett.
Wait, Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas was pretty on fire in NXT.
You gotta believe. What about Husky Harris?
He didn't spend that much time in NXT.
No, he didn't.
I was going to say NXT wrestlers wise, I think you're looking at probably Adam Cole Undisputed Era or maybe
Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode was amazing.
Bobby Roode was pretty dang good in NXT, but
he should donate his theme song to someone. It's not fair that we don't have that theme song in wrestling anymore.
And you picked it on Sunday in the fantasy draft.
Sure did.
Glorious.
Although he threw me for a complete loop because he goes, I'm going to go way back. And so I'm like, my brain is in the 90s and 80s. And then he's glorious Bobby Roode. I was like, that. It's like kind of back, but
I said way back in NXT.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just like, I felt like Chris Berman. I'm like, back on.
Right. Yeah. No.
No. Okay. Speaking of way back, let's go way back. Goldberg. I get a little nostalgic because I'm not going to lie. I was just young enough to think that Goldberg was the coolest thing going when Goldberg was at his peak. Obviously hindsight is always 2020, but at the end of the day,
it was one move, but that one move looked effective.
Spear jackhammer is always great.
The punch. He looked fluid throwing the punch.
He's like 70.
Yeah, like I'm saying though, he looked fluid throwing that punch at Gunther last night. It looked believable.
I like it. Here's my thing. I feel like it could easily get just real dicey when it comes to this match.
If it goes past 5 minutes.
No idea what to expect. Talk to me about last night. Tell me if you have any expectation before I ask Jordy about this.
So, like, it's gonna have to be different from any other Goldberg match we've ever seen. Gunther is an assassin inside the ring. His pace is slower. He comes out, he's methodical, he picks a body part, he works on it, he sets you up for how he's gonna finish you. All Goldberg matches were squash matches, right? I mean, he had a couple that went deeper in the waters, but now it's gonna have to be a Gunther style match, because if Goldberg comes out, like, I'm afraid of him being winded after he does his entrance, the whole pyro and kicking and throwing punches and stuff. And it's not being disrespectful to Goldberg. It's just at his age right now and what we've seen in the past. If it goes past 5 minutes, it's going to start getting very sloppy on Goldberg's side. So it's going to have to be a slow match. I think for his last one, I'm afraid I don't see a way of him losing this match. And it's sad to say. But yeah, I don't man. So many mixed emotions about this.
Okay. So I've got a question now, really quickly, Jordy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to give your thoughts on it first, or do you want me to give my hypothetical theory first?
You're the host, bro. You
No, you go first. I think you go first, and then we all discuss.
Right.
But I've got a hypothetical, guys.
I don't have that much to say on it. I appreciate Goldberg's role in WCW and the role he played. I've just never been a huge fan. I would maybe even go as far as to say I wish I cared more, but it is what it is. I'm happy. I think he deserves a retirement match. I think for what he's done in the industry, obviously deserves it. How it's gonna go now, that's the question, because who in their right mind would be like, oh, I know what I want for my retirement match, to get chopped down like a tree? Do you know what I mean? Like, who in the right mind would think that? So that worries me, because then it's not, because I don't want Goldberg to win. I think what would be a nice way for him to go out would be the sleeper. Make him not get pinned, make him just get choked out. Almost like Stone Cold style with Bret Hart, you know what I mean? Like, have him bloody and just have him choked out, put to sleep, and that was it. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I'm a little bit worried that we will find ourselves on the end of a spear and a jackhammer, and for some bizarre reason in 2025, Goldberg's lifting the world heavyweight title. So
it's a solid fear.
I've got a theory.
Is it a theory,
my
or
friend,
is it a theory?
And it has nothing to do with Austin, not the city or the wrestler. It has to do with a different city. Cold. It has to do with Atlanta, Georgia.
You're frozen.
Gold.
Must be chilly there.
Dog, he played for the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. This match is there. Goldberg gets chopped like a madman by Gunther all night long. But then some people start running in. We might get a tsunami, but we're going to end with a spear and a jackhammer. And at that moment, Goldberg will stand tall in Atlanta, Georgia, just like he did at the Georgia Dome against Hogan. And then another guy from Atlanta, Braun Breaker, will break him in half with a spear that looks like a shoot, just like Donnie mentioned in the comments earlier, just like Goldberg's Atlanta on Atlanta Crime. That's when Seth Rollins cashes in. He is our world heavyweight champion, headed to SummerSlam.
Mm.
And I think that's how this match goes down.
So,
And I agree, Donnie. And that's why I think if anyone's going to break that rule, it's Bill Goldberg.
So here's the thing, Clark. I truly believe, but you're leaving out one element in which Goldberg made sure he brought up when he came back.
DCX Warlord with the Atlanta screw job and then the Atomic Curve.
Lord.
Read my mind.
Right. So Goldberg's son was also verbally attacked by Gunther.
Right.
So I could see him getting involved. Now it's all coming back full circle. I really think there's going to be Atlanta on Atlanta Crime, and if Goldberg wins, then we are getting multiple spears.
Yeah,
we're getting a spear from Goldberg to win it, and we're getting a spear for Braun Breaker for Seth Rollins to come out. And here's where we come full circle back to Rollins and being hated, because I think enough people don't like Goldberg to where if Seth comes down and cashes in,
they'll cheer him.
Gonna be super cheered.
Yeah, I'm right.
This is an interesting comment here from Donnie. He said, but there's no payoff for all those guys beating up Goldberg when he gets no comeback on them. Here's the thing, though. I agree with you, Donnie. And obviously, you've been around the industry longer than I. But here's the other aspect. We've already got the I'm taking the title home storyline with John Cena. Goldberg has said this is his retirement match. He's not taking it home. So there is no payback no matter what. No matter what happens in this match, there's no payback. And that's why I think it's acceptable in this scenario. That'd be the only reason logically, and I could be wrong, but I just think for Braun Breaker's sake, the moment isn't worth passing up. Having that highlight of him, the last move,
it plays into a big storyline down the line as well. If Braun essentially wins Seth the title, then
what I would like better too is no stomp. Right? Sorry, not to cut you off, Jordy.
No, yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Stomp. Just spear and pin him.
Yeah. So Braun then.
Yes, Braun
9
won
months
the
down
title.
the line when Braun eventually turns on Seth and he's like, "Oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing all the work and I could beat you up." That's when he goes, "I could have been champion if it wasn't for running around after being a Seth If I wasn't being a Seth rider, I could have been champion by now."
And what better way to just flick your nose at AEW than to have Bill Goldberg win a title in his last match, whether he gets
What's the most Goldberg thing historically? If you're looking at record books, it is the most Goldberg thing ever. He technically wins his second to last match. Then there's the cash in. And it's also a squash because it's happened before the match starts. It's the shortest match in history. And his actual final match is going out on his back to a move that he's famous for.
And if somebody brings a cattle prod,
there's something serendipitous about that.
There is. And Braun is like the I don't know. He's like the next generation of Goldberg. He's presented in a similar way, right? In the sense of like, the sirens and the just like, it wouldn't surprise me if somewhere down the line, like if Braun Breaker and Goldberg were feuding to do the whole wind up, I would like to see Braun Breaker come out with guards just as a joke. Do you know what I mean? Like like Punk and Cena did, taking the mick out of each other.
A bunch of security guards. Yes. Oh, it'd be outstanding. Right. Honestly, it'd be funnier actually to see him like pump fake the headbutt. I think you do that segment, like actually mock Goldberg and like act like he's gonna headbutt the door and then just like don't do it.
Braun Breaker is also actually very funny. I learned that when he did the Steiner Math promo. when he brought that back. I was like, oh,
The
he's actually
Steiner
has
match,
got
yeah.
he has got a funny bone, this kid.
But like
funny
I said,
dude. Go
but
ahead.
I mean, I think it would be funny if someone brought a cattle prod.
Oh,
So,
come on, man.
just full circle. I love full circles. But if someone brought a cattle prod and they hit Goldberg with the cattle prod,
What if
like it would just.
I mean, Priest being the biggest Scott Hall guy, what if he turned and he's the fourth guy?
What if Goldberg's son hits Goldberg with the cattle prod?
Stop
and he's the
it.
fourth guy. What if he's just signed by
That would be
WWE?
crazy.
Yeah, it could be anything. I don't know. Donnie is convinced that Gunther is just going over and does the honors. Goldberg does the honors, but I do respect that too. It's all possible, but you never know.
Live TV.
It gets fun
Right.
fantasy booking, and we just had a blast doing it. I will say this though. If you don't have Tuesday night plans, you do now. Off the air tonight, immediately following NXT. Check that out. We're going to be making our predictions for this weekend on that show. As far as this show is concerned, that is going to bring us to the end. And thank you so much for tuning in. Sincerely.
And everyone, I got to cut you off real quick.
Go.
Everyone, like you guys were awesome. Everyone who sent happy anniversary messages to me yesterday. It was beautiful. I can't thank you guys enough. 18 years of beautiful marriage. And yeah, so thanks everyone yesterday.
Double happy anniversary, Aunt you. And I appreciate the thank you because I sent one of those messages
That
myself.
shit.
No, but sincerely, all love. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do. On behalf of me, Clark, Jordy, Mr. in the Bank, as you know him, Mickey's best pal, at University, Iona College, and all of us at WR, we really appreciate it. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Of course, that's noon Pacific, 3 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 8 o'clock in the UK and 9 a.m. for my friends in Hawaii. Have a great rest of your Tuesday and tune in to Off the Air. We will talk to you soon.
Yagramin.